Masters of the Sky and Mobility, the Pegasus Knights of Fire Emblem Warriors have one of the most perplexing movesets in the game. Containing the warriors Cordelia of Fire Emblem Awakening, Hinoka of Fire Emblem Fates, and Caeda of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, these three ladies mix surgical aerial strikes with excessive mobility that allows for a lot of utility for your team. Let's jump right in and see what they can do. The Pegasus Knights' standard attack string consists of 7 strikes. They will thrust forward, spin and slash to the left, twirl their spear while their mount kicks with its front legs, make a strong thrust into the ground in front of them, dash forward while spinning their spear in a flat circle, kick up a bit and unleash several thrust attacks, and then finish with a long flying thrust forwards. This standard attack string, as might be expected from one fighting from a flying mount, is a bit wild and hard to control. It incorporates a lot of movement, not to mention the rider and mount themselves shifting their position wildly throughout, and it makes it feel rather clumsy. The truth is that while you can get better with this attack string over time, it is clumsy. As we will soon see, part of the theme of the Pegasus Knights' fighting style is that a good deal of control of your character is given up in exchange for their support potential. However, I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's stop for a moment and take a look at their heavy attack and combos. When hitting enemies with your attacks, the Pegasus Knights' charge bar will begin to fill up. By hitting heavy attack, you will do an upwards diving thrust into the air, bringing any enemies that you hit with you. From then, your charge will begin to drain, allowing you to stay in the air a little bit longer. And while in midair, you can use the standard attack button to continue to consecutively chain a 3-hit combo on your foe. On top of this, there are 2 more additional moves that you can do from midair. Hitting the dodge button will allow you to air dash repeatedly. However, the only practical use of this is to reposition yourself quickly if your target has been knocked too far away. The other option is hitting heavy attack while midair, which immediately ends your flight with a big attack downwards to the ground. While this attack is flashy and all, I have to say that it is rarely, if ever, useful. The reality is that the only enemies that you would want to perform an extended juggle on are going to be generals, as any normal soldier would just die instantly from the initial thrust upwards from hitting the button. You'll soon find out that any general that you do start to juggle with this is able to easily avoid being stun-locked by simply guarding, which many of them will do, and which quickly puts them back onto the ground and at an awkward angle for you to continue trying to damage them from midair. Usually this attack is more likely to just waste your time more than anything else. For this reason, I recommend just pretending like it doesn't exist and continuing on with other moves that the Pegasus Knights can perform. And yes, by the way, this is the worst heavy attack in the game. Let's go ahead and move on to their heavy attack combos next. For their first combo, they will perform a backflip kick with their Pegasus, which knocks your enemies into the air for a juggle. This attack has the same usage as any other first combo for any character, which is to send enemies airborne for juggling while their stun gauges are open. Next up, their second combo has them perform a spinning attack with their mount and spear, covering a good area around you. You can use this ability to do some quick burst damage on a somewhat strong foe, such as a gate guard, or just to clear up a little bit of space around you. For their third combo, your rider will throw several magic spears forward, which travel a short distance in front of you. This ability has a bit of a wind-up time, as well as a rather thin area of effect that doesn't make it great for adding on damage, but it does have the ability to reveal stun gauges on targets that you are either neutral or have an advantage against. This is its best, and honestly, its only real practical usage. For their fourth combo, the Pegasus Knights will do a controllable dash forward while constantly thrusting with their spear. If it hits, this attack does massive damage and is the perfect move for bursting down an enemy's stun gauge. While this combo isn't the best for clearing crowds, it is extremely easy to use and deadly for your foes. For their fifth and final combo, they will dash in a triangle shape in front of them, then begin readying an attack that sucks in all foes nearby for one big thrust at the end. This combo is your primary means of clearing loads of enemies at once. However, be aware that this move does have a rather odd hitbox, which starts from right in front of where you were when you initiate the combo. Due to the wild movements of the Pegasus Knights standard attacks up until getting to this combo, in order to aim this most effectively, you need to think before you attack where you want to end up before using it, and then do whatever you can to position yourself there so that you can properly unleash it. That about does it for the Pegasus Knights standard and heavy attacks, but being mounted characters, there are some extra things of note before moving on. First of all, like all mounted characters, the Pegasus Knights have dashing attacks. When dashing, hitting standard attack will have them come to a halt with with a spear slash down and to the right, which actually takes the place of your first standard attack string, which allows you to very easily transition from dashing and setting an enemy up for one of your combos. Hitting heavy attack while dashing will have them perform a kind of flipping dive bomb a short distance in front of them. This attack can be rather hard to get the hang of, as the range that you travel while flipping may be more than you expect at first. A second special note about these characters, and the reason that I suspect so many people have trouble using them, is that they do not have a traditional dodge. Hitting dodge does jump you slightly in one direction, but if you're moving the analog stick at all after doing so, you will launch right into your flying dash animation. Because the Pegasus riders have the fastest marching speed in the game, which is set to 20, which makes them 4 times faster than a ground unit, this sudden jump to light speed can be overwhelming when you're trying to take on a specific target. The best advice that I can give for getting used to this is to first start by seeing the fighting style of the Pegasus Knights in a different light entirely. Rather than slowing yourself down to your enemy speed, embrace your mobility. Circle around your foe until they are locked in an animation, and then dive in for a specific combo, which will typically be their 4th combo. If your enemy is too tough to take out with a few surgical strikes, then it's probably time to switch to someone else in your team to take them on. This is one reason that all Pegasus Knights make perfect partners for any ground-based warrior. You can use the Pegasus Knight to carve through your foes before you reach someone too tough to be taken out as such, and then you can simply swap over to a more traditional fighter for the important one-on-one battles. At the same time, if any emergencies happen while you're on the battlefield, your ridiculous marching speed will allow you to respond quickly, allowing you to easily fulfill battlefield mission requirements or save your commander or home base. The incredible utility that these Pegasus Knights can bring comes at an extreme cost, and that is the critical weakness that Cordelia, Hinoka, and Caeda all share to archers. Besides Camilla, who also has this weakness, the 3 Pegasus Knights are the only characters who have a critical weakness to any standard weapon type that isn't carrying additional abilities. This is yet another reason to almost always travel with them paired up to a non-flyer, or you may find yourself quickly drained of health and out of options, especially considering the ability of enemy archers to juggle you themselves with their multi-hit heavy attack combos. I think that the term that best sums up the applicability of the Pegasus Knights in this game is that they are truly a double-edged sword. By applying them in the right way and in the right circumstances, you are able to make some of the most difficult battles a breeze. However, things can go wrong very quickly. If you are just starting with the game, decide early on which one of the Pegasus Knights you want to level up alongside your main ground-based damage dealer, as their mobility alone will allow you to apply your strength where it's needed most, and not be too late to rescue important bases or NPCs, which is often the most common cause of defeat rather than your character's death in battle. However, besides their utility, Cordelia, Hinoka, and Caeda simply do not have a very good moveset. In battle, I personally rely almost entirely on their dashing heavy attack, 4th combo, and 5th combo to clear away any foes that don't go down with one hit. And if that isn't enough on its own, then I will always immediately switch to their partner rather than allowing them to soak up unnecessary damage or my time while trying to fight in a way that doesn't suit them. So, while these 3 themselves are not the best in a fight overall, they certainly have an irreplaceable need on the battlefield. And if you're using them right, I hope that you agree.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil.